Good evening, Seawolves, and welcome to our special newscast from the Stony Brook School of Communication and Journalism. I'm Angelina Caraccio, your anchor for tonight. A Speaker of the House of Representatives has finally been chosen, putting an end to the last 3 weeks of chaos. Representative Mike Johnson of Louisiana won the election in a 220 to 209 vote.
Having received a majority of the votes cast, is duly elected Speaker of the House of Representatives for the 118th Congress.
Restore your trust in what we do here. You're going to see a new form of government, and we are going to move this quickly.
Johnson was first elected in 2016, representing a solidly Republican part of North and Western Louisiana. He is a constitutional lawyer who crafted some creative and controversial theories. He also had a role in devising an argument aimed at keeping former President Donald Trump in power when he lost the election in 2020. Johnson also emphasized on his continuous support to pass his first bill in support of Israel. Gaza death toll has risen to 6,500 and more than 1,400 people have been killed in Israel since October 7th. According to Palestinian officials, the UN humanitarian aid that arrived in Gaza on Monday is going to halt within days because of the shortage of fuel. United Nations is preparing to vote to a resolution to the conflict today. The UN Council can only adopt a resolution if at least 9 of its 15 members vote in favor of it and no veto is used by one of the 5 permanent members. In the studio tonight, our Middle East correspondent Michael DeMarco is here to share how the world has been reacting to the events unfolding in the Middle East.
The social media really doesn't cover all aspects. They actually support Israel more, and I think they're trying to just hide the truth about Israel and Palestine war.
It is covered, but things could be altered. A good example is recently what happened is the Hamas, the terrorist organization, did shoot a missile and it misfired and actually hit a hospital in Gaza. But what they did with that is they actually turned it around and blamed Israel, saying that they shot it. But it's always been known that Israel doesn't aim for hospitals.
Now, as the world anticipates an Israeli ground invasion of the Gaza Strip, many are anxious about worsening humanitarian conditions. And what's happening now really feels like the eye of the storm. And with proposed looming ground invasion expected to be carried out by Israel at the epicenter, the world is trying every which way to reduce the amount of civilian damage that has already taken place, along with projecting what comes next. And when it comes to the UN Council resolution surrounding this, it could lean one of 2 ways. We could expect what's being labeled as a pause while additional humanitarian aid is issued to Gaza, or the UN vote could result in a ceasefire. The difference here is that a pause would function as more as a temporary solution, and this is exactly what Washington is pushing for at the moment, as the U.S. stands in solidarity with Israel's prepared initiatives toward Hamas. And in actuality, the proposed ceasefire was originally suggested by Russia, which followed by a denial from the UN. And the Western skepticism here is that the belief that Russian ties to Iran come into play and are the reason for their backing of the ceasefire. And this is a clear indication of how this decision bleeds out internationally and raises the question over what ultimate climax the U.S. stands to reach with this conflict. And as we mentioned earlier, Israel's denial of visas. This uncertainty with the UN is causing a rift with Israel. It raises questions about how Israel will respect any future decisions by the intergovernmental organization. And Queen Rania of Jordan sat down with CNN's Christiane Amanpour in an exclusive interview calling out Western leaders for their response to the Israel-Hamas war. Here's what she has to say. Are we being told that it is wrong to kill a family, an entire family, at gunpoint, but it's okay to shell them to death? I mean, there is a glaring double standard here. It is just shocking to see, it is just shocking to the Arab world. And the shock of the violence within the region has left major scarring for both Israel and Gaza they're currently coping with. With the recent release of a total 4 hostages by Hamas, and 2 of which are U.S. citizens, this past week, Israeli families with loved ones who were captured by Hamas are eagerly awaiting initiatives to further accelerate their own friends and family members being returned home. Now, the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken addressed the UN on all-around initiatives to contain the conflict as much as possible to avoid its spread while maintaining a posture of defense.
We do not want this war to widen. But if Iran or its proxies attack U.S. personnel anywhere, make no mistake, we will defend our people, we will defend our security swiftly and decisively.
Thank you, Michael. A new study published in Journal Radiology said that artificial intelligence helps predict 1/3 of breast cancer cases up to 2 years prior to diagnosis due to the ability to predict these cases so soon. Dr. Jeanette Neshwat said that women diagnosed with early-stage breast cancer can live longer. All things combined with screening, mammography, improvements in medical care, 3D mammography, plays a significant role in helping women detect early stages of breast cancer. She said the best way to treat cancer is to catch it at an early stage. Those women who are diagnosed with early-stage breast cancer who underwent surgical intervention early on had incredible outcomes, less than 3% chance of dying within 5 years. Dr. Neshwat urges women with breast-dense tissue whose cancer has not spread outside the breast area to receive a mammogram and sonogram. Hurricane Otis took Mexico's southern Pacific coast by surprise this morning when it upgraded from a tropical storm to a Category 5 hurricane overnight. The storm ripped buildings out of the ground and sent chunks of earth flying out of the mountaintops. The Mexican state of Guerrero has been left with no power and no cell service. The storm has calmed back down to a tropical storm, but the damage left behind is severe. The destruction done to the roadways has inhibited authorities from getting to all areas affected, so the full extent of damages and casualties are unknown. Experts referring to Hurricane Otis as the strongest storm to hit land in Mexico's eastern Pacific coast. Dr. Barry Barish, a world-renowned experimental physicist at Stony Brook University and the 2017 Nobel laureate, received the National Medal of Science from President Joe Biden on Tuesday. National Medal of Science is the highest recognition that any scientist and engineers can be bestowed on. At a ceremony that was held at the White House, Dr. Barish was honored for exemplary service to science, including groundbreaking research. He has broadened our understanding of the universe and our nation's sense of wonder and discovery. Barish won the 2017 Nobel Prize in Physics for the discovery of gravitational waves. He joined Stony Brook University in 2022 after a long affiliation with Caltech and UC Riverside. That's all we have for you for tonight, Seawolves. Have a great day and a happy Halloween. I'm Angelina Caraccio, signing off.